the telltale signs of trouble, because we had a guy named de Blasio. Do you ever hear of him as mayor? He goes down as probably the worst mayor in history. Then he went to Harvard to teach government. Do you believe it? They took de Blasio, and they took that mayor from Chicago, the woman, the one that gets her hair done very expensively, right? Beautiful hair. She got beautiful, luxuriant hair. And they took her, and she's teaching at Harvard. They're teaching government. And then you hear about Harvard. We're trying to work a settlement with Harvard right now for about, like, a lot of money. I won't tell you what, but you'll be reading about it pretty soon. Because what they've done to Jewish people and what they've done to others is pretty bad, I'll tell you. It's pretty bad. It's going to cost them a lot of money. After last night's results, the decision facing all Americans could not be more clear. We have a choice between communism and common sense. Does that make sense to you? Common sense. It's common sense or communism. And you know, you take a look back 1,000 years, it hasn't worked. If it worked, we'd be using it, I guess, but it hasn't worked. Our opponents are offering an economic nightmare. We're delivering an economic miracle. We have delivered in 9 months, this is an economic, the biggest investment of funds in a country in history by many times. That's good. They want higher spending for government and illegal aliens. We want bigger paychecks for American workers and American families, and that's what we're delivering. You see that. They stand for crime and chaos and corruption. We stand for law and order and justice. Also, strong borders. Boy, do we have strong borders. They put America last. We put America first. We put America first. And as long as I'm in the White House, the United States is not going communist in any way, shape, or form. We'll stop it. We're going to stop it. Stop this nonsense. You know, I said they were voting last night. You can have a communist or a thug. A communist, and they took the communist, you know. It's pretty amazing. We could have done a little better in terms of candidates. From day one of my administration, I've been fighting every single day to turn around the catastrophe we inherited, to make America the best place on the planet Earth to do business. And that's what it is. Right now, we're the #1 place. I'm getting plants approved in 2 weeks. It used to take 20 years before they got rejected. You'd have young people start off. Their whole business was getting a certain plant accepted. 22 years later, they're ready to retire, and they haven't gotten it. And then they go to a vote, and they get rejected after 22 years. They wasted a whole life looking for an acceptance. We do it in 2 weeks. We make sure it's good. We make sure it's great and proper, environmentally sound. It takes 2 weeks. My goal is to have the best tax rates, the lowest energy cost, the lowest regulatory burden, the most advanced technology, and the fairest trade deals anywhere in the world. You know, we're leading China. We're leading everybody by a lot in AI. And this was my idea, so I'm very proud of it. I said, build your own electric. People would come. We need more electric grid, sir. The electric grid's 200 years old. We need more electric grid. It's old. The electricity that the AI plants need alone is double the entire electricity that we have in the country right now. Can you believe it? So I had this idea. I said, we can't fix the old grid that much. We'll fix it up. We'll keep it going. A little Band-Aid here, a little Band-Aid there. It's old. And I said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to let these geniuses build their own electric generation. So they are building their own electric utility plants. They become a utility, if you think about it. They're building the utility and the electric right alongside. This is where they have their transformers and everything. They're building the most expensive electric plants you've ever seen, generating plants. Some by nuclear, some by oil and gas, some by coal as a substitute. They're building them right next to their plant, and they're incredible. People say they've never seen anything like it because these minds are genius. To them, an electric plant is not complicated. To them, an electric plant is better than the people that produce electricity, although Florida Power and Light is doing a lot of plants for people. They're pretty advanced, I have to tell you. But they're building their own juice next to the plant. Isn't that sort of a cool idea? And you know, when I first proposed that, They came into my office with, they have unlimited money, but they were trying to figure out how they can build it because they had no electric of any consequence. And they said, you're going to build your own plant. I'm going to get you your approvals in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe a month if I'm slow. We have a great man, Lee Zeldin, in charge of the environment. He's incredible. And he's tough, too. He's very tough. But they have their approval in 2-3 weeks. They're dealing with the best experts in the world. They know what they're doing. It's amazing when you see some of the stuff come in, designed by guys with 190 IQs, and then you have an inspector who's not quite as smart as that, inspecting it to see whether or not it's okay. And he has no idea what he's looking at. No idea. But I said, you're designing your own electric plant. And they didn't believe it. They come in 2 weeks later, they said, the biggest problem is electric. I said, you can design your own plant. And we're going to have your approvals within 2 to 4 weeks. And they said, he's really serious about it. They thought I was kidding. It was so good, they couldn't believe it. They'd leave and they couldn't believe it. It took me 2 or 3 times to say it. Yeah, they're designing their own electric plants, and it's unbelievable. And then they're going to sell their excess electricity back into the grid. So we benefit in that way, too. In July, I proudly signed into law the largest tax cuts in American history. Now, that's the second time. I did it the first time, but these are even larger, the great, big, beautiful bill. And that includes no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security for our great seniors, no tax on Social Security. I wonder which is the most popular of the no tax on tips. I was in Nevada, in my building in Las Vegas, and I had this beautiful young waitress come up to me. I never talk about beauty anymore because politically, if you mention somebody's beautiful, that's the end of your political career. So I don't mention that she was beautiful, but she was beautiful. And she came up and I said, how you doing? Oh, sir, I'm not doing well. The government is horrible on tips. I said, really? How do they tax? They tax tips? They tax us and they go after us. I've never seen anything like it. It's made my life miserable. Sir, there should be no tax on tips. She said to me, no tax on tips. I said, say it again. She said, sir, there should be no tax on tips. So we had a lot of the fake news waiting for me outside of the restaurant. So I went out and I said, ladies and gentlemen, I have an announcement to make. There will be no tax on tips. That's how it all started. And I won Nevada. Because, in Nevada, every job is basically, you're a waitress or you're working in a hotel. No, that's how it started. So it was amazing. We won Nevada easily, which is usually not a stronghold for Republicans, but it's become a stronghold. So I want to thank the waitress. She did a great job. But when she said those words, sir, there should be no tax on tips, it's amazing. Somebody else would hire a consultant, pay them millions and millions of dollars. They'll come back. And they'll say, sir, I think you should absolutely tax tips. And you lose the election. But we also have 100% expensing for all new factories, plants, and equipment, so your businesses can write it off all in 1 year, and that's a lot of jobs you're doing and producing. That was, to me, the biggest thing in the first bill. But this is even better because this goes for a 10-year period. Upon taking office, I signed an executive order requiring that every new regulation, every time we issue a new regulation, think of this, 10 old regulations must be eliminated simultaneously. So if we give you one, you get rid of 10. And so far, for 9 months, we're exceeding that. And it's 30 to 1. For every new one we give, they're getting rid of 30 old, broken down regulations. And we've slashed nearly $1 trillion worth of regulatory burdens. We have regulations that are so old and nobody uses them, but they stymied a lot of production, a lot of jobs. And I did it the first time, and we had the largest regulation cuts in history, and now we're exceeding it this time. So it's big. It's one of the reasons we did so well then, and I think it's one of the reasons we're doing so well now. Again, we have to talk about it, because if we don't talk about it, nobody else, the fake news, is not going to talk about it. And we have streamlined permitting for the new energy and mining projects. What used to take decades now takes 28 days. And on day one, I signed an executive order to unleash American energy and officially terminate the Green New Scam. Has anyone ever heard of the Green New Scam? Remember the the old thing, global warming, and then it would be too cool. And then they said global cool. They didn't know what the hell to say. So they came up with the greatest, climate change. No matter what, if it goes up, if it goes down, climate change. They're very, very smart people, but not smart for us. They're smart for them. But my policy was very simple. Drill, baby, drill. We're drilling like crazy right now. And to curb inflation, we've slashed the size of government for the first time in years, and we're waging total war on waste, fraud, and abuse like we've never done before. Since January, 100,000 bureaucrats have left the federal payroll. Government spending is down 2.5% this quarter compared to 1 year ago. Think of that. And in stark contrast to last administration, 100% of all new jobs created in America under my administration have been created in the private sector. 100% of the jobs have come from the private sector. Otherwise, you don't have a country. I mean, I love government workers, but if you have all government workers, you don't have a country, do you? At the same time, my tariffs are bringing in hundreds of billions of dollars and are helping slash the deficit this year by more than 50%. Did you see the numbers? We're going to be down 50%, anywhere from 25 to 50, but closer to 50%. Who would think of that one? Those are big numbers. Now, take that out 2 or 3 years. To embrace a vital industry here in Miami, I've also signed historic executive orders to end the federal government's war on crypto. Crypto was under siege. It's not under siege anymore because it's a big industry. It's a big industry, and I have a lot of people that are great people, great business people. They're in other businesses, but they're in crypto too. And it takes a lot of the pressure off the dollar. It does a lot of good things, but we're into it. Biden was vicious on crypto. They were going after these crypto guys. It was terrible. They were under indictment, but I got indicted too. I got indicted. I made a phone call. Congratulations on your victory. He made a phone call. Let's indict him. These people are the worst. Then they say, he's gone after Comey. They indicted me. They impeached me. They did everything. It's unbelievable. Who the hell else could have taken that? Do you guys know anybody else that could have taken it? I don't think so. A lot of people say, you're the only one could have taken that. I don't know if that's true, but there aren't too many. We're making the United States the Bitcoin superpower, the crypto capital of the world, and the undisputed leader in artificial intelligence. We're leading China by a lot. Don't forget, if we don't do the crypto properly, China wants to do it. They're starting it, but they want to do it. Other countries want to do it. If we don't do it, it's a big industry. We're honored to be joined today by a man who has been a true champion for many of these bold policies. He really has. He's been a great guy. He was a little late in his endorsement of me, I'll be honest with you. He endorsed me. You know, these guys that endorsed me after I won, I don't know. Sir, I'd like to endorse you. No, I won the election. Nah, he's a good man, actually. I've known him a long time. He's helped turn the area into one of the hottest markets in the country and one of the greatest cities in the world. Miami Mayor Francis Suarez. Please, Francis, come up, please.
You're never gonna let me forget that one, huh?
Thank you.
Thank you, my brother.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a little shorter than you are. Oh, it's truly a great honor to be here with you this afternoon and to have you here once again in the great city of Miami. Your leadership and your vision have shaped not only our nation, but also the future of our city. Miami's success today is rooted in the values that are deeply American: opportunity, freedom, safety, and innovation. These are values that you have championed with conviction, and they are the same values that have made Miami a symbol of what's possible.
And you were just watching now President Trump speaking at the America Business Forum, touting his administration's economic achievements. And speaking about yesterday's election results, President Trump said America is faced with this decision: communism or common sense. All right, moving on. After winning the New York City mayoral race, Zohran Mamdani said he will announce members of his new administration soon. Here's more from his press conference today in Queens.
Last night, we made history. I'm so proud to be standing here today as the mayor-elect of the greatest city in the world. Over 2 million New Yorkers cast their ballots. Whether they were the more than million who supported this campaign or the others who supported someone else, or whether they felt too disappointed by the political process to participate at all, I will work every day to honor the trust that I now hold.
Mamdani said over the coming days he will announce roles including deputy mayors and commissioners. They will carry out the critical work of city agencies and oversee entire areas of government. Mamdani also announced 5 women who will serve on his transition team. They include his campaign advisor, who will be the executive director. The transition team members have worked under the previous 3 mayors. Mamdani promised to build an administration that is capable, compassionate, driven by integrity, and willing to work hard. He said he is willing to work with Mayor Eric Adams to ensure a smooth transition. A number of Jewish organizations are reacting to the election of Zohran Mamdani as the next mayor of New York City. The UJA Federation of New York issued a statement expressing its concerns. The federation said, quote, "We recognize that voters are animated by a range of issues, but we cannot ignore that the mayor-elect holds core beliefs fundamentally at odds with our community's deepest convictions and most cherished values." The coalition said it will continue to work to ensure the city's Jewish community and all communities feel safe and respected. The organization added, quote, "Our agenda remains clear. We will hold all elected officials, including Mayor-elect Mamdani, fully accountable for ensuring that New York remains a place where Jewish life and support for Israel are protected and can thrive." In his victory speech last night, Mamdani appeared to respond to concerns within the Jewish community, saying, quote, "We will build a city hall that stands steadfast alongside Jewish New Yorkers and does not waver in the fight against the scourge of anti-Semitism." New Jersey Democrat Mikey Sherrill is celebrating victory after defeating Republican Jack Ciattarelli in the governor's race. The congresswoman turned governor-elect told supporters in East Brunswick last night she's ready to take action on one of the campaign's biggest issues, the state's soaring utility costs.
I've spoken with thousands of you over this last year. I know your struggles. I know your hopes. I know your dreams. So serving you is worth any tough fight I have to take on, and I am incredibly honored to be your next governor. So I'm going to declare a state of emergency on day 1 to drive down your utility costs.
Sherrill also plans to support new nuclear projects, modernizing natural gas infrastructure, and expanding new solar and battery storage projects. She thanked her opponent, Jack Ciattarelli, and recognized him for, in her words, stepping up after she received a phone call from him. Meanwhile, in his concession speech, Ciattarelli promised that work in New Jersey is not done after losing the governor's race. We now go to NTD's Washington correspondent, Mari Otsu, who brings us more from the Ciattarelli Watch Party in Bridgewater, New Jersey, as well as President Trump's comments on the Republican losses on election night.
I thank all of you. I love you. The fight doesn't end. We fight for another day, but let us continue to do all that we can to fix the state that we all love. I know you do too. That's why you're here tonight.
GOP candidate Jack Ciattarelli says that the fight must continue after losing the New Jersey governor's race to Democrat Mikey Sherrill.
New Jersey's been home for 100 years, and it will continue to be my home. And I look forward to seeing you all and working together once again to make sure that we effectuate the kind of change we so desperately need here in this state that we also love so very, very much. Guys, thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you.
At the top of his concession speech, made to a ballroom packed with his supporters, Ciattarelli announced that he'd called Sherrill to congratulate her. Some supporters told NTD that they still had fight left in them, while others weighed moving from New Jersey, saying God had forsaken their state.
I mean, she wants abortion at any stage, no restrictions, right up till the last day, even as suggested after birth. She wants taxpayers to pay for it. I do not want my tax dollars being used to finance infanticide, being used to finance murder.
No more sanctuary city, any city in New Jersey. Cops will not be handcuffed anymore.
The taxes are ridiculous, property taxes, energy costs, and I am so sick of having to buy my grocery bags. I got a closet full of them.
While Chitterelli lost the governor's race, Republican Assemblyman Mike Inganamort won his bid for a second term in Tuesday's election and told NTD.
But regardless, we have a duty in the legislature, and if we are going to be working with Mikey Sherrill as our governor, you bet we're going to hold her accountable.
President Trump, meanwhile, who endorsed Chitterelli, reacts to Democrats' projected election night wins, saying that Republicans lost the elections because of the government shutdown and because his name wasn't on the ticket. Reporting from Bridgewater, New Jersey, Mario Tsu, NTD News.
And the races are in Virginia. Democrats retake the governor's mansion and several other key positions. NTD's Jack Bradley has more from Virginia Beach.
Virginia has chosen its new leadership. Behind me is where Republican incumbent Attorney General Jason Miyares conceded to his Democrat challenger Jay Jones. This was the closest race in the state. Miyares touted his success as Attorney General in cracking down on crime and fentanyl, and he wished Jay Jones success as the next Attorney General.
I wish Jay Jones the best in this new job. I know given the circumstances of the last 6 weeks, many of my supporters will find that difficult. But the reason I wish Jay the best is because we, the people of Virginia, need it. We need an Attorney General who focuses every day on keeping us safe. It is my sincere hope that Jay does that.
The crowd here just shocked.
You know, this was a race about decency. The whole country was watching, and this was a test for Virginia to elect a Attorney General that stood for core values that we understood. And I think we're seeing a shift.
Now, Democrat Abigail Spanberger won the governor's race. She beat out her Republican challenger, the current Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears. Virginia has for decades voted for a governor from the opposite party of the president. Spanberger is a 3-term congresswoman and former CIA officer, and she ran on anti-DOGE cuts and anti-tariffs.
I also know that those who were supporting my opponent are disappointed today. And to those Virginians who did not vote for me, I want you to know that my goal and my intent is to serve all Virginians.
I want to thank you because you believed in me, you who voted for me and who worked so hard to make our dream for Virginia come true. I still want to continue to thank God for this journey and His grace that brought me again to this wonderful country, this wonderful Commonwealth.
In the lieutenant governor race, the race has been called for Democrat state lawmaker Ghazala Hashmi over her Republican opponent, talk show host John Reed. Now, this comes after the Virginia Senate on Friday voted to give the state legislature the power to redraw congressional districts. This would go before voters next year if it clears the next procedural votes. This passed on party lines with Democrats in support and Republicans against in Virginia. And this comes amid a wave of redistricting fights across the country seeking to claim more congressional seats for their own party. Reporting from Virginia Beach, Jack Bradley, NTD News.
California voters approved a plan yesterday to redraw the state's congressional map in Democrats' favor. Governor Gavin Newsom celebrated the news.
But what a night for the Democratic Party. A party that is in its ascendancy. A party that's on its toes, no longer on its heels. From coast to coast, sea to shining sea. But it was not just a victory tonight for the Democratic Party, it was a victory for the United States of America, for the people of this country.
The approval of Proposition 50 gives Democrats a shot at winning as many as 5 additional House seats. That's just enough to blunt Texas Republicans' move to redraw their own maps to pick up 5 GOP seats. The measure was spearheaded by Newsom. Former President Barack Obama urged voters to pass it as well. Congressional district boundaries are typically redrawn every 10 years to reflect population shifts documented in the census. Mid-decade redistricting is unusual, except when a court order finds fault with the maps that are in place. Following the results, Californian Republicans vowed the fight is not over.
This fight is not over. It's just started. But that's going to leave this conversation wide open for Republicans to come in and not only remind people of the problems that California is dealing with, the crime, the Prop 36 still going unfunded, even though the voters voted for it, kitchen table issues, the homeless problem that Gavin Newsom promised to solve when he was mayor of San Francisco that still hasn't been solved. We're going to be pointing all of those issues out, and we're going to be taking our message directly to the people of California.
Voters in Minneapolis have re-elected their mayor for a third time. The AP is calling the race in favor for Jacob Frey. He beat out a large pool of candidates that included State Senator Omar Fateh. Minneapolis uses ranked choice voting to pick its mayor. And how it works is if a candidate does not clear the threshold in the first round, the ones with the lowest votes are dropped for the next round. The process is then repeated. Frey won in the final round. This will be his third term. Coming up, what pushed New Yorkers to choose a Democratic socialist for mayor? We have analysis on that and more news right after this quick break.
Kids love it. Parents trust it. Obviously. Explore GJW Plus Kids Series and Ganjion Campus courses led by expert educators. This is spectacular. Children will learn values like respect, responsibility, and knowledge in language, science, and more. Wow. All while having fun. Perfect. Subscribe today at GJW Plus Kids, where learning meets fun.
So at the age of 5, I was sexually molested. I had my first child at the age of 15 and became homeless at the age of 16. The scariest part about not having a place to live was having a child and not having a place to live and not knowing where our meal was going to come from and where we're going to sleep. To be homeless as a teen, I didn't ask for that.
No young person should ever have to worry about having a safe place to sleep at night, or a warm meal to eat, or whether anyone cares about them. 1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year, and that's unacceptable. But the good news is there is an organization making a big difference, Covenant House.
Call or go online now. For a gift of only $19 a month, just 63 cents a day, you can provide hot meals, safe shelter, medical care, and love to more than 2,000 young people who sleep at a Covenant House every night.
For over 50 years, Covenant House has been helping youth in crisis.
It was pretty tough. But Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
Call or go online right now to safeplacetosleep.org with your gift of just $19 a month. With your monthly donation, you'll receive this soft, comforting blanket as a reminder of the warmth and safety your gift will provide a young person tonight.
I have no words to express how Covenant House changed my life. They gave me the love that I needed. They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding.
Your $19 monthly gift is urgently needed to reach other young people who are facing unimaginable situations. Call or go online to safeplacetosleep.org.
Your support makes the work of Covenant House possible. Thank you for caring.
Mix Fix is a custom formulated, full-spectrum organic detox product to achieve better health and overall function. It's not just the longevity of life, but quality of life. There are other products out there, but they lack the quality that Mix Fix provides. Detoxifying your body 3 to 4 times per year may be the single most important thing you can do, and our detox mix was designed specifically to do it and do it right. Just scan the QR code and detox your body today.
There are real consequences to controlled media. And NTD's founders know them firsthand. Our freedom of thought is the price This is the lesson that guides us in everything we do.
So there's a turn that's
We know the value of a free society. And we take seriously the responsibility to preserve it. We are NTD.
Next, an analysis of Zohran Mamdani's mayoral win and why New York has opted for a Democratic Socialist mayor. Joining us to discuss this is Carrie Smith, the host of the YouTube show Deprogrammed with Carrie Smith. So Carrie, thank you very much for joining us today. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, let's just start here. Your thoughts on why Zohran Mamdani won the mayoral race in New York?
A couple of reasons. First of all, it is New York City, so we're talking about a very leftist city to begin with. The second reason is because people are struggling. His number one message in the campaign was affordability, and that's the thing young people, Generation Z and millennials are most concerned about, I think. And so when you become very desperate, sometimes you tend to move towards radicalism. You'll take any kind of, hope. Hope was a big part of his platform, right?
Do you think, I mean, this choice for Mamdani, right, a democratic socialist, do you think it is tied to the rise in support of socialism that we've seen in the U.S., especially among younger generations?
Yes, because unfortunately, in part because of our failed public school system, a lot of people in America don't know enough about the history of socialism. So we don't have direct experience with it. And I think for young people, I mean, the polls you're talking about are very alarming because a lot of young people are more favorable towards socialism than they are towards capitalism. And so in some ways, I almost think what's happened here in New York, this might be a very tragic future for New York City, but one that gives people an accurate idea of how socialism works in their lifetime, to see it in front of them.
And can you talk to us about how you feel faith plays into this, whether it's socialism or communism?
Yeah, so everybody believes in something. Everybody has faith in something. And I'm a Christian, and I'm a relatively new Christian within the past 8 years or so. And if you don't have a faith in God, if you don't have a faith in something that's bigger than yourself, your own ability to reason, that's bigger than the government, then you tend to put your faith in other things. And I think a lot of people on the left put their faith in government. They put their faith in government to fix their problems, government to make them happy. We've started to see tweets from politicians about how, we love you, we see you, like this sort of weird, validating kind of message. I don't need the government to tell me they love me, So I think for some people, because of a lack of faith in a creator, they've started to put that faith into institutions that are not going to be able to give you what a belief in God would give you.
And perhaps this is not a coincidence, but in countries where they use socialism or communism, you see that it's a rather not very faithful society. So I'm wondering if there's a correlation between that, a decrease in faith and a tendency to support socialism or communism.
Yes, when you say not a very faithful society, do you mean in terms of being able to see how that affects people's morality? Because I think without a faith in God, like we tend towards our baser nature. And so we start to see that in the culture, and we've certainly seen that coinciding with this support, this growing support for socialism among young people. We've also seen this growing trend towards degeneracy.
Right, I'm just thinking as an example, China under the Chinese Communist Party's control. The CCP sees itself essentially above God.
Yes.
Right? And then it imposes that ideology down to the people. and then it has a tremendous impact on people's morality. The Chinese people's morality. So that's sort of what I'm getting at here. But I also wanted to ask you, Carrie, you were once a self-described social justice warrior, and over the years, we've seen a fusion of socialism and woke ideology like DEI, for example, and critical race theory. Why are more young Americans in particular drawn to these ideas?
Yeah, I was in what I call the woke cult or the social justice cult for 20 years. One reason is that we have become disconnected from a belief in our creator, and so people are looking for something to fill that role, and a lot of young people are picking it up in academia or even now in K-12 education. So I picked it up I'm quite a bit older than you. I picked it up at college.
I look young, but perhaps I'm a little bit older than you think. But anyways.
But I picked it up at college. So I was indoctrinated at Duke University in the late 90s. And at that time, it wasn't in K-12 yet, but it was in the university system. And looking back on it, I'm able to see that the beliefs, I was being taught what to think, not how to think. And the beliefs that I picked up at university very much functioned kind of like a religion, in that woke ideology gives young people a sense of, it's like, this is how you are a good person and this is how to be a bad person. And it has a whole list of rules and tenets and beliefs that they all adopt. And what we see with some of these woke beliefs, like a belief in pushing racism and sexism with DEI, is that they are using the government. This is where the socialism part comes in, is they are using the government to now push their faith, to push their woke beliefs. That's one of the biggest reasons I ended up voting for Trump in the past 2 elections, which I never thought I would vote for a Republican, but I ended up voting for Trump, is because he eventually came out very strongly against using public taxpayer dollars to indoctrinate children and young people with these racist ideas, with these sexist ideas, with this upside-down morality.
So, Carrie, why do you think people keep wanting to try socialism? Because if we look into history, socialism, communism, it's never worked, and we've seen that repeatedly throughout history, and we don't have to look far back either. So why do you think people, they keep wanting to try this? Because just a couple decades ago, we've seen socialism fail. Does it actually change, or is it different this time? Is it rebranded, or is it the same?
One, which we've touched on already, is our public school systems are failing. So people do not know history. I went to a great school and I didn't know history. I wasn't given an accurate understanding of world history. So the other thing is that people don't read. Young people are not reading. If you look at the literacy rates, which are declining for high school graduates, there's a reason why, unless they have direct experience with it, they're not learning about it in school, they're not reading, and so unless they have direct experience with it, it sounds very good, right? Everything's free. We're going to give you everything for free. I mean, that sounds amazing. Of course, people get excited about that.
Yeah, and I was just talking to some guests before yesterday. Nothing is free.
Nothing's
right?
free.
Nothing's free. People who provide a service, they deserve to be paid. People who work, they deserve to be paid. So that money is going to come from somewhere. You can tax the rich more. That's some of the arguments being made by Mamdani as well, I think. So that leads to my next question here. We've seen how real issues like workplace abuse and segregation can be used by socialists and Marxists to push an agenda for struggle, like between the rich and the poor, right? And whites and blacks, for example. And socialist policies often target the wealthy for simply having more money or property, and Mamdani wants to increase taxes on them. Are you concerned that this issue could escalate over time into a more severe form of discrimination?
I am, because what it is you're creating a scapegoat, and you're saying the reason for your position in life is because of this group here. And and when you do that, you're kind of fueling people's resentment, and you're taking away their belief in their own ability to affect the changes they want to see in their life. And so the other thing is that scapegoat group, if you look at history, continues to broaden. Okay, so it starts off with billionaires, then millionaires, then, you know, the standard of living here in the United States, a lot of these people, the leftists, have not traveled outside of the U.S. We live like royalty. I mean, we have, compared to some parts of the world. And so to some people, you are the billionaire class. Do you know what I mean? Like we have, we have running water, we have electricity,
things we take granted.
The things we take for granted, exactly. And so that scapegoat group always gets bigger. And the other thing is that it's not just that with socialism, as you said, nothing is free, right? Somebody's going to pay for it. But often they don't, what they're doing by putting all the focus on taxing the rich is they're obfuscating the fact that you are going to pay for it too. In a variety of ways, like, and if you don't pay for it, your children are going to pay for it, because what we see over and over again with socialism is that it leads to food shortages. When you put the government in control of these things and freezing rent and taking over the means of production, that the average person ends up paying for it. You don't end up in a better place. Maybe you bring everybody down to where you're at, or worse.
Yeah, and it destroys incentives as well. If they're telling you your best is not going to be rewarded, then you won't try your best, right? And that's one of the shortcomings of putting a higher tax on the rich. Then you just lose the incentive to try your best, I think.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
Just this year, I didn't know about the history of the income tax, for example, in the U.S., and I was reading some of the history about when they instituted the income tax here in America. And I think it was around 1914 or 1919. And at the time, the politicians were promising the American people, look, we're going to start taxing your income. It's never going to go above 1%. And now that seems so crazy, knowing where it's at today. So this whole idea of, like, once you open the door to these things, to not being able to keep the fruits of your labor, it seems like they continue to take more and more of it.
Yeah, it's a slippery slope for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, we have to wrap up here, but I want to ask you one more question. What would you say could help to bring more about constructive solutions that uphold the equality and freedom of our founding fathers and what they envisioned?
A better education. And so what I tell parents, I talk to a lot of parents about their kids who are about to go off to college, or they're at that age, about what's happening at the universities with woke indoctrination. And my advice recently has been, be very careful about what college you're sending your kids to. There's a great one that I recommend usually is Hillsdale. But especially for parents who have younger children, take them out of the public schools. I wouldn't trust you're sending them to the government to indoctrinate them. So I would say find a way to, either homeschool or find a classical school, a private school, a Christian school. If you look at the SAT scores and the literacy rates for publicly educated young people versus those who are being homeschooled and in these private alternatives, the public school is failing.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're so right about education. It could really solve a lot of problems in our society if we just tell our next generation what is correct, what is the right thing to do, and what is the wrong thing to do, and give them a sense of morality, a moral compass. I think that would really do society well, and it could solve a lot of issues. Well, Carrie, it was such a pleasure to speak with you today. Thank you so much.
You too. Thank you so much.
All right, we're going to take a short break now. At least 9 people are dead after a cargo plane crashed near Louisville's Muhammad Ali International Airport. What officials are saying about the disaster as an investigation is being launched. Stay tuned.
I was a quarterback at Hardaway High School. College first round draft pick, on and off the field. We were taught to not show any signs of weakness. During the football season, I would stop eating, but I didn't know I was depressed. I thought that something was wrong with me. For 20 plus years was physical. We didn't have any education behind what mental health was. I started to learn it starts here first. If this is together, I'll be better as a father, as a man, and as a husband. Put the importance on your mental health. I'm not scared to talk about it anymore. The first tool is therapy. The second one is positive self-talk. And then journaling, putting your thoughts on paper. We have to redefine what being a strong man is and heal, love your mind.
Where did the time go? Somehow I lost all those years. Where did the time go? I don't know how I got here. Or how did I get here?
You've done the hard part. You quit smoking. Now do the easy part and get scanned for lung cancer. If you smoked, you may still be at risk, but early detection could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
A state of emergency declared in Kentucky after a UPS cargo plane crashed near Louisville Airport. Governor Andy Beshear shared an update.
Continue to search that site, hope and pray for the best, but know there may be more loss of life that we're going to learn about today. 2 businesses were directly impacted: Kentucky Petroleum Recycling and Grade A Auto Parts. Thankfully, a local restaurant that is right there that we had great concern would be impacted and we would lose whoever was in it, was missed and now is helping the search and rescue.
At least 9 people were killed when a UPS cargo plane crashed shortly after takeoff yesterday evening. It left a fiery trail of destruction. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear said the radius for the shelter in place around the crash has been reduced. But people living in the immediate area are being told not to drink the water. Beshear also said he declared a state of emergency to speed up resources for victims and responders. The governor said he expects the death toll to grow by at least 1. He added that authorities searching the site do not expect to find any survivors today. Beshear and the mayor of Louisville plan to tour the crash site. The NTSB arrived this morning with a team of about 30 people on the ground to launch its investigation. The discovery of childlike explicit dolls on Shein's website on Saturday fueled an outcry. Shein said it had sanctioned the sellers and implemented a full ban on explicit dolls. Now the Chinese fast fashion giant is opening its first permanent store in Paris today, sparking strong opposition from French designers, lawmakers, and store owners. Some experts say Shein is using its partnership with a French store as a stepping stone for its global expansion strategy. NTD international correspondent David Vivez reports from Paris.
The opening of spaces dedicated to Shein in the BHV store is taking France's fashion world by storm. The Chinese brand accused of supporting pedocriminality on Monday after authorities found childlike sex dolls for sale on its platform is also facing backlash from fashion labels. Around a dozen French brands present at the BHV said they would leave the store in protest over Shein's arrival. The government also withdrawn its funding from the society managing the BHV. A small group of protesters, including fashion designers, gathered outside the BHV department store in central Paris on Wednesday. Demonstrators held signs reading "Shame on Shein," denouncing what they called the company's unethical business practices. For Fashion Association Vice President Céline Dupuis, this might change the face of the fashion world.
It's a major shift. Shein started online, and now it's moving into the heart of Paris, right across from City Hall. To me, it's a threat to democracy. Their approach is aggressive, manipulative on social media, and toxic, both in how they sell clothes and how they push people into overconsumption.
Shein stands for everything we don't like in terms of textile composition, manufacturing, and distribution. Its products, how to say it. They're poor quality, certainly cheap, but they won't last. My generation and that of my grandmothers prefer a quality item that would last over time. These are my values, what I created my brand on.
The partnership between BHV and Shein comes as BHV faces significant financial losses, according to its management company. This includes months-long delays in paying salaries to some employees.
I spoke with BHV workers yesterday. They are all very worried about their jobs, since Mr. Merlin, the current owner of the store, has stopped paying the brands that have been established for 6 months. So it's very dangerous for the security of the people who work at BHV and for the brands. I would like to add that this is one country that created fashion to begin with. We must speak out against this Shein presence in stores because we don't hold the same values as they do. Remember, childlike sex dolls have been found on the Chinese website, and now we found that we can also order bladed weapons too.
The BHV is now at the center of a backlash spanning politics, fashion brands, and store owners. The Federation of Paris Grand Stores has voted unanimously to exclude BHV after its partnership with Shein. Amid the controversy, Shein told CNN that its adult products category has been removed entirely, while a review of its screening procedures is carried out. And France's Prime Minister today suspended access to Shein's online platform in France until the company proves that its content complies with French law. France's Minister of Trade addressed Parliament today over another serious finding, the sale of weapons by Shein, including one that was recovered in a murder investigation.
Too much is too much. After the sex dolls scandal, now the weapons. I've been talking to Minister of Interior, and we found out that a weapon used to kill a 14-year-old boy named Elias in Paris in January this year was purchased via Shein.
The trade minister said the case of Shein would be closely investigated by France's administration. Shein pop-up spaces are expected to open stores later this year in 5 other French cities. David Vivez, NTD News, Paris.
Hungary says the country's prime minister is set to travel to Washington this week to meet with President Trump. We have more news after this break.
So at the age of 5, I was sexually molested. I had my first child at the age of 15 and became homeless at the age of 16. The scariest part about not having a place to live was having a child and not having a place to live and not knowing where our meal was going to come from and where we're going to sleep. To be homeless as a teen, I didn't ask for that.
No young person should ever have to worry about having a safe place to sleep at night, or a warm meal to eat, or whether anyone cares about them. 1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year, and that's unacceptable. But the good news is there is an organization making a big difference, Covenant House.
Call or go online now. For a gift of only $19 a month, just 63 cents a day, you can provide hot meals, safe shelter, medical care, and love to more than 2,000 young people who sleep at a Covenant House every night.
For over 50 years, Covenant House has been helping youth in crisis.
It was pretty tough. But Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
Call or go online right now to safeplacetosleep.org with your gift of just $19 a month. With your monthly donation, you'll receive this soft, comforting blanket as a reminder of the warmth and safety your gift will provide a young person tonight.
I have no words to express how Covenant House changed my life. They gave me the love that I needed. They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding.
Your $19 monthly gift is urgently needed to reach other young people who are facing unimaginable situations.